Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with, at long last, a layout share. These pages go back to May 3rd, although this is one of the more recent ones. And I've just been so busy making pages that I haven't had the time or the space in the day to put out a layout share video. So it's kind of let's see, what is it? May 3rd to today is May 28th, so 25 days. There are 48 layouts here. And so it's a little like going to confessions, here's my layout share. It's been 25 days since my last layout share. And in the meantime, I've made these 48 pages, and there are a couple more back there that don't get published for a couple days. During May was the layout a day challenge, and I have made a page every day. Some of those pages were digital and there weren't videos, but I've kept up with my other challenges and series that I do. And so there's a lot here, most of it with I've also been participating. I made up a kit for not only Scrap Backwards, and I always have a Scrap Backwards kit every month. If I'm keeping the kit and bringing it forward, I always refresh it, and I'll be doing that on the 1st of this month. But I also use that kit for this month's How to Kill a Kit with Style, and I think I'll continue doing that. I like some of the challenges and ideas that come out of the How to Kill a Kit with Style, and it's certainly compatible with my whole Scrap Backwards philosophy and the use of my kit, which is really all about using supplies. And that's also what Rediscover Your Stash is all about. So I participated in that, and they have a different focus each month. And this coming month of June, their focus is on, if possible, as close to a total freeze as you can do. So I have just recently gotten in some new collections, including the a lot of Pink Fresh collections for the class that I did this layout for. So I'm full up with all kinds of new beautiful goodies. So I think I'm full up with adhesive. I may need a refill for my tape runner, but it's kind of full. So anyway, I think I'm going to try to do a total freeze during the month of June. And in the month of June, I'm also going to do a video every day for the 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, along with other stuff. So my next layout share will probably be 48 pages too. So without further ado, I'll start on the pages. I'm not going to go into great detail because there are videos on all of them except the digital ones, and I did print some digital ones. And there's also no video on the ones that were done for the Vicky Booten classes. So I'm going to start with this one, not because it's the most recent one or the oldest one. It is the one that has this dimension that I really don't want to lose before I put it in a frame on the wall. So this is it's a 3/4 or a 3/4 inch strip 2 3/4 inch strips from this paper that has the pink front and the white background with the teal flowers in it. And they're glued together right about there. And so I put my title with the T hiding that seam. And this was straight out of a Steffi Reed class. It's almost an exact copy of hers, except I don't think she had an alligator or a ladybug on hers. And this little cluster down here is a little different from hers. But I absolutely love so many of her ideas. The idea of doing it on white cardstock, but then framing the cardstock with a wider frame here and here. Anyway, I'm saying too much about that. There is a video. It's this is all Pink Fresh Studio product, and it's from the Create and Connect class. So if you've ever wondered what that's like or what you'd make in a class like that, that's an example. Okay, so here's one that's, I can tell just by looking at the supplies, this is absolutely a scrap backwards page. Another scrap backwards page that is these are lots, most of these are based on load prompts. So this one's all about the various turtles, the turtle paintings I've made, canvases I've made, and the live turtle that it landed in our yard that Ava kept as a pet for a few days before we talked her into taking it back to be with its family in the little pond down the street. This one was for a black background challenge, and I used, this is Vicki Bouton's black foundations paper, and I used a stencil and some Tim Holtz Distress Oxides and blended several colors, and then I stamped with Distress Oxide inks on here. And that's a picture of my sister all dressed up for the prom that her care system had for her. This is a Vicki Bouton class page, and I did it for a challenge at Load, and it's meant to show, I think there's 26 years difference in these two photos. At least that's what my journaling seems to say. This seems like 100 years ago. so we'll see. This is one a page I made for Scrap-A-Sketch, and this was the sketch, and I have these two photos of the lovely Lisa's son, Johnny, and her brother, Chris, and they celebrate their birthdays together. They're one day apart, March 9th and March 10th, and they take the same photo. So this was the photo taken on Johnny's first birthday, and this was taken this year. And I used lots of birthday supplies, and instead of florals coming out, I had dinosaurs and puppy dogs and kitty cats wearing sunglasses and llamas with balloons. So that's all fun and games. And then this is my challenge page for Bramble Fox, and I use this beautiful collection from Pretty Little Studio. It's one of my new collections that I've received recently. So none of this is old stash, but this is a Bramble Fox title, Bramble Fox Hearts, Seagull, Cloud, Star, and another seagull. So this was fun. This was on a walk to the beach. We found a sunglass stand, so we all modeled sunglasses. I really like Ava's with the 3 different lenses and Katie's that say no. And this, okay, so this was the sketch that was the challenge for the month. This one, I forget what that one was for. It's a load challenge, and Rediscover Your Stash. Rediscover Your Stash had their challenge this month, or their focus this month, was mixed media. So of course I did some mixed media on there. Don't know what this one was for, but I absolutely love it. I love the sequins kind of glued into the bottom of the heart below the word love, and the turtle here and the sunflower there. I found that picture when I was looking for something else, and I don't think I had ever scrapped it before. And this was for a load prompt, talking about a load in 2017 where I was in the middle of it and my paper storage rack collapsed, and John stopped whatever he was doing to fix it for me and put it back together. I think this was a minimalist challenge, and it was about the difference between this hair and this hair. And these were on the same day. And this is thanks to Katie. And I need to get her to do that every day, because most days when I don't see her, it looks pretty much like that all the time. This is what was this? Oh, this one, actually, I think these last 3 do not have videos. Let's see, is this also for, that was a Scrap Squad Sunday. These 3 were for, I forgot that I did a Mind the Scrap cyber crop in there, and that's what these are for. And this one, the challenge was to scrap a photo of someone having fun in the rain, and you can't have more fun than that. She had actually found and adopted this umbrella, which was a little kind of a gift given for those working on the project, getting ready for the Euro conversion back in 2001. And that was John's umbrella, and he treasured that umbrella, and she just kind of appropriated it. So these supplies were all from a former Mind the Scrap, from actually the February Mind the Scrap kit. This one was something about a challenge to have a numbered list. And so I numbered my list with all 8s because 8 is a special number for us. And this was one of the, I guess it was the first photo of us as a family, and we weren't yet a family. We were on our way. We were a month away from becoming a family. Whoops, this guy needs some glue. Get it back up on here. Those are Bramble Fox travel icons, a suitcase and a passport, and I've been hoarding them, and I decided to use them on this. This is something that I think the prompt was something about something that makes you feel childlike, and for me, that means a sense of wonder, and nothing fills me with wonder more than travel, seeing and doing new things, meeting new people, going new places. This one, I love grids, period, and I love circle grids. This is all about the swinging door that we got news that week that they were closing. And this is from a sketch by Christie's Beautiful Life. And I think the load prompt had to do with including fringe. So I had this little camera with some fringe on it from a Vicky Boutin collection. This is, I don't know what that's for, and I said I wasn't going to look. It's another Christie's Beautiful Life sketch, and these are photos from Barrett's spring break in Florida. This one was, this was from the Mind the Scrap Cyber Crop, and it was, I also used it for Mixed Media Mayhem, and I used some little rub-ons that I've had. They're probably the first rub-ons I ever had in my stash. This was for a load prompt about doing something behind the scenes, and I used these photos that were taken without either one of them knowing, this one without Ava knowing, and this one where they both knew, at a record store, a vinyl record store in Savannah called Graveface, and it was on our recent trip. So that's what I titled it. And I have a squirrel coming out of the G, also for a load prompt. And if you're curious about the load prompts, you kind of got to be there, and it's worth it. You'll scrap some stories and use some techniques that you never thought you'd try. So this one I'm thinking also has to do with, oh no, this is a Mind the Scrap Cybercrop. Somebody sleeping, I think, was as close to the prompt as you would get. And I didn't even know this photo existed. That's a photo that John must have taken of me. I remember the day very well. We'd been out working in the garden, and we'd been out swimming and then working in the garden. And I came in just exhausted and laid down on the bed, and my hair was taken out of the rubber band that I'd held it in, and it was still wet, so I was kind of letting it dry there. And Scout just kind of curled up and nestled on top of and in my hair. And this was another oxides on top of the black foundations paper, and I love it. This was a Scrap Squad Sunday. It was a Scrap Squad lift, and I used this plaid background. I wasn't quite sure that was going to work, but I actually love it. And I got a chance to use that big, pretty title, which was from Simple Stories, and it was in a Mind the Scrap kit. All of these papers were from Mind the Scrap kits. And this little bird. And that reminds me of something I need to do. This is from a Vicky Boutin class, and I did not video this one. This is about James finding a t-shirt with a dog playing guitar that absolutely is the spitting image of our dog Reese. And so I have the t-shirt here, and and the wreaser there. Love that page. This was a digital page that I didn't have a video of. It's a newspaper article about my mother that I didn't know existed and that I had never seen before. My brother sent it to me. So I just kind of, I scanned the article, or I guess he sent it to me electronically. I just brought it into my digital, my word processing system, along with this frame and this mixed media stuff and this title and this journaling. These three are pages from my Lazy Scrapbooker book, and I used it to scrap some of the photos from Savannah. This one is actually of Katie and Allie out to celebrate Katie's 21st birthday. And I added the flair and a few physical elements to the page, the pre-printed page, and of course the photo. Here, this was that same record store in a grave face in Savannah, and it's the whole crew except for me, James and his girls. And then here's Allie, and I added, flair and the camera and the sunglasses and another flair and a stamped stack of suitcases from my friend Helen Rockabilly Girl, if you follow her on Instagram, and Island Scrapper on YouTube. So I love these poses of alligator with the alligator at the crab shack. And here's another one of those pages, those pre-done pages. And I added some real enamel dots to go with the fake enamel dots, and then some more photos from Savannah. This one's also from Tybee Island, and this is a little yellow bicycle paper from 1,000,000 years ago, and I added things from, the challenge was to mix old and new collections. So this is an old one, maybe 2013, 2012, 2011, something like that. And this is brand spanking new. I think it had just come into the house. That's the Sunkissed by Pretty Little Studio. And I added some little sequins there following the line. And it's just kind of a goofy close-up of Katie where you can see the reflection of what was going on in her glasses. This is a load prompt, and I'm actually using a finisher's prize. It's a Bramble Fox perspective that was given away as a finisher's prize for load a couple years ago. And I have some Bramble Fox cloud and coffee cup and trees and just some photos of sunrises on our travels. And this is Spectrum Sherbet by 49 and Market. This one is talking about the, I think the prompt was something to do with how we like music, or what we, I forget what the prompt was. It was music, and then to use black and white elements. So I have the black and white here and the black and white up there. And these are photos from the Stones 60 tour, including the tickets and the set list that that was done by Ronnie Wood. That's kind of his handwriting. And so it's I Love My Music Live is the thing there. And then I've used black and white flair as well. These are these two pages are from the Vicky Booten print shop class, and it's the class project had us numbering our photos, and so this was these were all photos from Mother's Day. This was my Mother's Day gift, and that's the same t-shirt that was on the other page. And this is me with Barrett and Katie. We went to the place where Barrett works. It's a place called Pure Taqueria. And where James had dropped me off at the restaurant, and then he went and parked the truck. And when we were going to where he parked the truck, there's a place there with a Gulf sign. And I don't know, it just seemed like that that Gulf Oil is where I was working when I met John, when I interviewed him for a job in my group. And so we met, fell in love, and married while working for Gulf. And so, I don't know, made me feel like John was there. And I journaled about what each of the photos meant in this long space that was meant to be a photo mat. This is the page I did for Bramble Fox Challenge Team. There was a, what was the, I forget actually what the challenge was. It may have been a sketch, it may not, but I used this title, and these leaves are from and the butterflies are from, and this flair actually, are from their sheet that of paper snips that come in the Bramble Fox Fox Box Plus, which I subscribe to. And I found these arrows in a previous set that are the same beautiful color and flat sheen that that this title is. I absolutely love these flat ones. They do a navy blue that is my favorite type of perspective ever. And these are some old pictures. Oh, it was to scrap about animals. That's what it was. These are some old pictures of Ava walking a dog that was part of our family for a little while. This is a page. I think the prompt was to use stars and to, I'm not sure what else, but this is from Spectrum Sherbet by 49 in Market, and it's a fabric washi tape. It's a fabric tape, I guess. And I just laid it out on there, and it's absolutely beautiful. I just love it. And then these are gold fabric stars. This was a, I'm not quite sure, a mixed media mayhem to use ribbon and texture paste and something else. Ribbon, texture paste, and sparkle. So my sparkle is in the sequins. The ribbon is here, this black and white, and the texture paste are these little stenciled in bits on top of the rubbed on color. And this is a stencil that's available at scrapasketch.com. Designed by the lovely Lisa. Another Savannah Tybee Island page that's just kind of a crazy conglomeration of papers and ephemera and acetate butterflies and the like. Something about wild. And I'm not sure what else. Again, you kind of have to see those prompts. I stamped this border and I couldn't be happier with that. I'm not quite sure. So, and I guess that's my mixed media. These are vellum washi or washi tape. It's washi, but they're stickers. Hard to explain, and I have no idea where I got them. This is one of my favorite pages, and I'm sure that surprises you because this is much more my style, and this is much more my color scheme. But I really like using these older supplies that I've had around for a while that are kind of photography oriented, but there were in the 6x6. This is for the love of mini paper pads. It's a monthly series that focuses on using 6x6 and 6x8 and 8x8 paper pads that are smaller than 12x12, which we all have and probably don't use as often as we'd like. So these are photos from Barrett's yearbook, and this is a circle cut out of the cover of his yearbook, or photo of it. And this was his, in the football section, that was his football picture. And this is a photo of the sign in our neighborhood with the graduating seniors. And then this was his senior class photo, and it's a photo of the photo that's in the yearbook. So I have a better copy of that, but I wanted to use this because he snapped that out of the yearbook. And his senior quote was, "I'm a senior, but I'm fresh, man." So I don't know. I love this page. And I love that it's on craft. This is this was the page I was scrap lifting, and it was for Scrap Squad Sunday, and I'm using Scrap-A-Sketch printables. This was, I had just downloaded and printed my very first Scrap-A-Sketch printables. So these flowers, the butterflies, the tickets, the rainbow, and I'd just taken a class where we learned to do these clouds, and I doodled the clouds and stitched around them and cut them out. This heart is also from Scrap-A-Sketch, and so is that. And this Scrap-A-Sketch printables, let's see, I have it. It's Rainbow Wishes, and this is what I printed, and what that's where I cut the rainbow out and the heart and so forth. So that's the collection called Rainbow Wishes. And I actually cropped out the flowers, and I brought them into my word processor and changed the sizes to have big ones like this and little ones like this. The real ones, the original ones, were kind of in between there. And then there's this goofy picture of the dog who every day when she wakes up, it's a brand new day, but also she had just gotten groomed, just back from the groomers. So this was the original that was the Scrap Squad lift. This next one is digital, and I printed it two ways. This was my original concept for it. This was a photo that I took at Tybee Island. And this was a photo from 2011 when Katie and Allie were at Tybee Island. And this is on the same kind of bridge there, but different perspective. There's Allie and there's Katie, and then just in front of Katie is Ava. And in 2011, Ava was 3, so she wasn't in that photo. And I brought in some supplies, this netting and this frame and the shells and this little title thing. And I was perfectly happy with that. When I was cleaning my desktop on my computer, I deleted this background photo first, and it left just the elements, the digital elements that I had brought in. And I kind of liked that. So I printed it that way too. And this is what it looked like. And I just love the white space. I might, if I were actually doing this page, I'd probably do some sort of a narrow frame around it. But I kind of like, I moved this element in a little bit and this element over. These were placed on here, on this version, they were placed where they are because of, I wanted this fence to show. I love the little leaning, falling down fence look. So it's, I love that. I'm not quite sure which side of that is going to get on the, make it to the wall. This is a Scrappy sketch by Lisa that had maybe 4 film strips all kind of lined up nicely. And there was a smaller photo. And I just kind of decided to go wild. I used the bleeding tissue paper circles to make my mixed media background. And then I used a ton of little doodlebug pieces from Mind the Scrap kits to kind of be like confetti on it. One of my viewers on my video told me that it looked like confetti, and as I look at it, it certainly does. I added a few flair here in different places, and all of it is to highlight this amazing picture of Ava. This was taken at the baseball game in Atlanta. The Braves, the Astros were here for the Braves, and we were celebrating John's birthday. So I love this. It's on good old thick Foundations paper, which, you know, has a little bit of warp in it, but will straighten out in my album. This was another Scrappy sketch that I did for, I'm pretty sure it was for a load prompt. It was about my culture, and I was to use stars and stripes. And I have stars there and stripes there. And I did the page without photos and published it that way. And then, because it was after midnight when I got home from the Stevie Nicks concert, which was last Monday. And this was a picture of us in the parking garage on our way in. And these were photos from the concert, and this was us sitting at the concert. And I used my brand new Happy Days collection from Cocoa Vanilla for the papers and the flowers. Makes it easy when you do that. So, and this was from, that's a Vicky Bouton, this from one of her thicker sets. And I was going to leave it at this, and then I decided to add the word rocks there. Again, a take on the previous page that said, I like my music live. Well, for me, my brand of culture is live music. So, here's a then and now photo. That's Barrett on his last day of kindergarten. Here he is on his last day of high school at graduation. And I did this also at midnight, just got it in under the wire for a load. and filmed it after getting home from the graduation and then the dinner we had after, and visiting with friends who were in from out of town. So I love that page. This one is a very simple page. I got 2 sheets of the same paper and I fussy cut part of the images in the corners and then overlaid them, did a little bit of stamping. Again, this is Vicki Bouton's Warm Wishes, and I used her Warm Wishes alpha for that. This was for Christmas in May. It's a monthly series where we scrap Christmas photos. And this was my dad on Christmas Day in Hyde Park in London in 1944. And these are some more graduation pictures. And it's the load prompt was to create an I am page. And so I am the proud grandma of an amazing 2023 graduate. And this was done the day after graduation. And I'm using that Sun-Kissed by Pretty Little Studio for all of the papers on here. Again, printing the photos in a grid, putting them on a page of the 6x8 paper pack, and then embellishing with the same collection. Easy peasy. Very easy peasy to have a cohesive looking page. Which left to my own devices, it might not be so cohesive looking. Kind of like this one. This is Mixed Media Mayhem, and it's the hop, and we were lifting this page by Paige Evans, and she has used several of her collections to do, or several different papers from her collection, doing this star, and I think she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers of stars there. And I didn't have that many dies. And I kind of wanted to highlight the mixed media and not so much the papers on a Mixed Media Mayhem page. So I have this photos for my 12 box project. I really haven't done an update on that in a while. I'm gonna do that during the month of June. But this is my son James and his cousins Monk and Scott at an Easter egg hunt in our backyard in 1983. And so I used the packaging technique, but with gloss spray. So there's a really nice sheen on that. And I used 2 different colors of Dina Wakley media gloss spray. And then I used little bits, little tiny sticker, like epoxy hearts and stars. And of course, a strip of acetate Easter eggs that's from a very old Little Yellow Bicycle collection. And of course, the paper clip. And here we are with some more from Sun-Kissed by Pretty Little Studio. This one is a scrap lift of a, let's see, how do I put this? It's a scrap lift of Christy's Beautiful Life that she scrap lifted from someone else. And I didn't do it exactly the same. It's kind of an inspired by rather than a full-on scrap lift. But I love, this is a bonus pattern paper that's part of the packaging of the Sun-Kissed line. These are all the papers that are in it. My one issue, if you want to call it that, is the florals, whereas everything in Pretty Little Studio is meant to be vintage. There are the prints and the animals and everything are drawn like they would have been in the 50s. But I'm not crazy about vintage florals somehow. And it could just be that they're hard to fussy cut. That may be my major complaint. So not a big problem. So I'll use the paper as paper. Anyway, I cut circles, I punched circles with a scalloped punch and then cut them in half to make the kind of banner-y thing there. This is a weird one. The challenge was to scrap about something that might not have been such a good idea at the time, and to use a loud background. So I used a Scrap Squad lift from their 4th birthday celebration, and it's a beautiful page with kind of a pale pink, like almost solid papers that were cut in strips like this and probably stitched or something and had florals kind of coming out of where they were joined. So I picked this background, and then I used black and white florals so that they would stand out, and I used some kind of color matched flair, this vellum piece and so forth. And the photo is from 1968 when I had bought and paid for my own car, which my parents said they said you'll drive when you've bought and paid for your own car, because they needed theirs. Their car was essential, and they couldn't risk anything that I might do to it, or they couldn't risk it being gone for me to use. So whatever the reason, I graduated from college, got a job in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and went to a Volkswagen dealership, bought a Bug, and put flowers on it actually before I was able to drive it. Had the guy teach me enough about driving it, and I drove it around in an empty, vacant area behind the dealership, and then drove very carefully down streets that I knew. It was fairly close to where I lived, and then practiced at odd times of the day. And it took me a while. Took me 5 tries to get my the driving part, to pass the driving part of the test. So as soon as I got the license, I drove down to Louisiana to meet my family at the Louisiana State Fair in Shreveport, and they were shocked. They didn't know that they knew I'd bought a car. They didn't know I'd gotten my driver's license, and they certainly didn't think it was a good idea for me to drive a couple states away to so soon after getting the license. And they were going to be, I realized that this was when I was packing up to go home, I realized that they were going to be scared to death my whole drive back, and they were, but so I had fun, and I was skinny, so life was good. This is a page that's also got photos from my 12-box project, and I think when I made the video for this, I wasn't sure whether this was in Honduras or Batopilas, Mexico, on our Copper Canyon trip, and it is Batopilas. So this was using a sketch. It was done for Simple Stories Saturday, and that's a Simple Stories collection. And I had seen this sketch that Christy's Beautiful Life, Christy Harriman, had put out on Instagram, sharing sketches for International Scrapbook Day. And immediately seeing the sketch brought to mind this striped paper. So I decided that I would save that sketch for Simple Story Saturday. This collection is You Are Here, and this circle sticker is from, and maybe also the glasses are from Carpe Diem, and this, I believe, is from Life in Color. And so there are 3 Simple Stories collections, along with some Bramble Fox perspectives and some photos that I, again, didn't know existed, and I am so happy to have found them. And this is the one, this is one I did today, actually very early in the morning. I waited till midnight when the load prompt came out, and I actually made the video for this at 12:20 in the morning. It took me those 20 minutes to gather my supplies. This is Scrap Squad Sunday, and it has a load and my load page. And I don't think I still have the original. I probably didn't print it. I think it was on my iPad. But it's a graduation photo, and Jonah, Jameer, and Barrett have been friends and played basketball together for years and years and years. And when these were 3 little boys, they were sitting at my craft table, and Jameer's older and younger brother were also there, using all my craft supplies to design and paint athletic shoes. They were going to design their own line of athletic shoes. And they're amazing kids, and that's me, and that's Katie. And then there's the crowds in the background of graduation. And that's one of my favorite photos from the whole evening. I was so happy to see them. And this this page just seemed perfect for kids that are off to find their fortunes. So that's it. That's my collection of pages. Sorry for the long share. I really will try to do shares more often so there aren't so many pages. But thank you for watching. Bye.